Hello, I am Dr. Sarah Chaja-Clardy, the Director of Secondary Teaching, Learning, and Equity, here to present on the Situation and Recommendations Report of course modifications for the 2023-2024 school year. In this presentation, I will review the course modifications and all of the attachments that are included in our Situation and Recommendations Report. It's important to know that each year the curriculum is reviewed under the leadership of our steering committee members here in Sun Prairie. New courses may be proposed and existing courses may be modified or removed. The purpose of this is to refine and enhance our scope and sequence of classes, and to ensure that these course proposal modifications are developed within our departments and our grade levels by our staff. This year, throughout the summer and fall of 2022, curriculum leaders and their department members worked to review current course offerings in grades 6 through 12. Several course modifications requests were created based on the department's work over the summer and early fall. Each proposal was then discussed individually and feedback was solicited. The group voted to either move ahead with each proposal presented or, conversely, recommend to revisit the proposal for additional information. All modifications captured in the course modifications chart will be reflected in the 2023-2024 course guides. To give background to the process, the Sun Prairie Area School District uses the Curriculum Renewal and Design Plan and spells out how the overall process works with course modifications. In this Curriculum Renewal and Design Plan, we have the process, the timeline, and all of the information, including the actual course proposal template itself, included so that our staff are able to create new course proposals, to do some current course revisions to current courses we have on the books, or propose deleting courses. And pages 19 through 27 of the linked Curriculum Renewal and Design Plan contains that information. It is important also to know that this summer we worked to revise the Curriculum Renewal and Design Plan, as we had gone through an entire cycle of planning across 6 years, and after coming out of the pandemic, we had some new work happening that needed to take shape, and so the plan was revised. However, the course modification proposal remains consistent. That was not changed throughout that revision. In terms of the actual course modifications themselves, we have an attached chart that's included in the Situation and Recommendations report, and it shows that of the course proposals that were submitted, we had 10 that were title changes, so current classes where the titles were changed. Usually titles are changed to make it more clear to our students what exactly the course is that they're signing up for. We also had 5 course additions, so these were new classes that we will be offering for the very first time next year. We had 2 course revisions where the content of the course was changed, and so those were true revisions. And then we had 7 course deletions, and those were classes that the department will no longer be offering beginning next school year. It's incredibly important that we communicate to both our students and their families around all of our course changes and also just all of our courses that we offer in general. And so how will students and families know about the middle and high school course offerings for next year? This largely happens through our course registration and course guide process. So the timeline for next school year begins pretty soon. Across December and into January, our course guides are released. And in those course guides, remember, we have 1 course guide for grades 6 through 8 and 1 course guide for grades 9 through 12. Those course guides contain charts at the middle school level, as well as descriptions around what the classes will offer. And then in high school, we have charts, tables, and flow charts that our departments have created. Every course has an attached video, which is a brief, about 2-minute overview of what the course will entail. And then we also do an in-person and digital course expo for high school in January, so that our students and families get to become a little bit more familiar with our classes before making their final selections. Our counselors visit our schools to be able to assist with this transition and planning process and to give more information to students. And then for the first time this year, our 8th grade students will be creating 4-year blueprints to gain a comprehensive understanding of what all goes into course guide registration in high school. And so all of that leads up to the registration process, which happens throughout January and the very beginning of February. For the first time this year, we are, as I mentioned, having an 8th grade 4-year blueprint creation process. This is new, and I bring it forward in this presentation so that our students and families and our board understands that they're understanding just course registration in general, graduation requirements, crediting. This is all new to our students going in from 8th grade to 9th grade. And in previous years, we had all of our 8th graders and 9th graders in one building, and it was pretty easy for the 8th graders to sign up for those 9th grade classes. At this time, we're getting to a place where we have a more robust planning, and that's been under the direction of our ACP steering committee and our subcommittee that's been working to create a more robust plan for 8th grade students. So for 8th grade specifically, it actually begins in our 6th and 7th grade classes through the exploration of academic and career planning. And in 7th grade, there's career education and exploration that happens in our middle schools. When students move into 8th grade, they begin to learn about career clusters, and they really relate that to the interests that they've been identifying through a program called Zello. And they go to a career exploration offsite field trip event called Future Quest that happens for all Dane County schools at the end of November. For the first time this year, our 8th grade students will have a Google Classroom that's been created for them by the high school staff, by our high school, college, career, and life readiness coordinators and school counselors, and they will use that same Google Classroom all the way through graduation. In that Google Classroom, there are video introductions of key high school staff members of the high school that our students are attending, so that students can get to know the names and faces of the people that are associated with the course guide process. Across December, 8th grade students will learn about high school courses and begin to create the 4-year blueprint. So the new courses will be in our new course guide, but they're going to begin by getting an overview of what a course guide even is, and to understand just the basics around credits, graduation requirements, grade point averaging or GPA, post-secondary requirements depending upon where they're thinking they may want to go after graduation, so that they can create this 1-page blueprint for high school that they will then revisit annually across grades 9 through 11. And all of that leads up to course registration for our 9th graders, or entering 9th graders, or rising 9th graders, we sometimes say, by the first week of February. So I express my immense gratitude to our education staff, teachers and leaders who have submitted these proposals and who just put a lot of effort into ensuring that our courses are relevant and engaging and they're classes that our students want to take. And they also work to ensure that the course guide selection process is laid out in a way that is easy to understand and are available at any time for questions that people might have. So if there are any questions, I look forward to answering them at the board meeting on November 21st. Take care.